Hello and welcome to Deal or No Deal. Let's take a look at today's contributors. Tom Bull, Luke Hearn, Bez, Charlie Walsh, and Tom Atherton. Hello, Mr. Chairman. Yes. Okay. The chairman is called. I've got one question. David Moyes' new contract. Deal or no deal?
Give Moyes a new deal. You're damn right I would, 100%. The guy thoroughly deserves it. He's proven himself. The form we've been on of late has been absolutely brilliant. You've only got to look back to, I worked this out the other day, our form since the 1st of July, which was when we played Chelsea. In that time, we played 16 games, won 26 points in that time, which is outstanding. Scored 29 goals in those 16 games. Conceded 18. Brilliant. What a turnaround from a year or so ago under Pellegrini. You can see now we're a much better coach side than what we was then. We're organised, we're really tough to beat. The players work as a team. The work rate on this team is unbelievable, and we work so much harder than any West Ham team I can remember in quite a long time actually. Under Pellegrini, we saw the same mistakes time and time again. Balls into the box constantly causing us problems, which was a massive frustration, conceding the same type of goals. No sign of that here. We just look like a team that teams don't really want to come and play. What more can you ask for? I think it's been great to see, to be honest, and I've got to give Moyes massive credit. I wasn't necessarily somebody that wanted him to be reappointed. In fact, I didn't want him to get the job the second time around, to hold my hands up. But he's certainly proved me wrong. I've thought it for quite a while now, been in the Moyes in camp, if you like, for quite a while. I just like what I'm seeing. You've also got to look at how many players he's improved, and that's also another good sign of good coaching. So I'm not necessarily sitting here saying I'm prepared to give him a 3-4 year deal. That's not necessarily the right thing to do. But I think you give him a year's extension or 2 years and then review it in another year's time. I think we've got to. Who else are we going to get? Who else is going to come in and do the job that David Moyes is doing under the current regime? I'm not so sure there's many out there, and I'm not sure there's many out there that would even take the job under the current owners. So give the man a deal, thoroughly deserves it. Well done, Dave. Keep it up.
So the question being, should David Moyes get a new contract? For me personally, I think he should. I think he's doing well. You know, he's gradually changing us into a very hard team to beat. He's getting a plan. He's gradually getting the players in that he wants to get in, and I think he needs to be given a chance to get the players out that he wants to get out, so he can get the players he wants in. I think a lot depends on whether he can keep certain players. Like you look at Declan Rice, for example. If Declan Rice does go, that sort of changes the dynamics on who will he bring in to sort out that team. He's brought in a really good backroom staff. I'd like to see, though, if he is given a new contract, the chance for a director of football to come in and to support him, you know, so that it takes the pressure off him, and the director of football can go and find players and do all the scouting and bring in a real scouting network and a backroom team to really push that team on a little bit more. There are still question marks about his in-game management, which definitely is something that I agree with when people say that, you know, there are question marks about his substitution. But again, is this because he hasn't got subs that he trusts, etc.? Thanks for having us chat, for inviting me on. Until next time, come your wins.
Mr. David Moyes, Moyes-sire, some would say. Does he deserve a new contract? Hell yeah, he does. Of course he does. He proved me and most of, I wouldn't say most, I'd at least say 50% of the West Ham fans wrong. The guy's done wonders with what he got. How many transfers and players that we've brought in were his picks. Some we'll probably never know, but of course the guy deserves a new contract. Probably first time in a long time I can actually sit here and say that, yeah, this guy deserves every opportunity. He's picked up the team from a shit time and turned us into a good looking side. He's found a formation now that suits And yeah, I can't grumble with the guy. It's one thing I'm actually happy about with the club. So it's very weird. Like, in a weird way, I'd like to wait till the end of the season just to keep Moyes on his toes a bit, because it seems like when his future's not known, maybe we're getting the best out of him. You know, sometimes when you start giving out 3-4 year contracts or even 2-year contracts, you know, managers and players tend to, you know, see that as an opportunity to relax. They see that as an opportunity to get complacent. So yeah, I'd maybe put on the table, look, Dave, if you finish in, I don't know, 8th position or anything better, then we'll give you a 3-year deal. If you finish maybe, I don't know, 13th to 9th, we'll give you a 2-year deal, and likewise just do a contract based on where we finish this season. So yeah, but the overall answer and the feel is Moyes deserves to get a contract out of this. And I was one of you know, I hold my hands up. I was one of the people that slated him. Didn't like slate him hard, but I was never a Moyes fan. But I'm glad he's turned it around, and yeah, you know, it's positives at the minute. It'd be nice if we could buy a forward in January, but yeah, I'm happy, and get Moyes on board.
I know I'm probably the only person who's going to say this, and I'm putting my hands up to it now, but for me, currently, as of this moment, it's no deal. Let me try and explain why. If you watch the watch-alongs with myself and young Tom, you'll know that I've been increasingly trying to give David Moyes the praise he deserves. And I think since lockdown, he has shown, or he deserves a lot of praise. I think he's done a lot of things right. Both from a managerial perspective, from a West Ham perspective, the whole shebang, okay? I think he has done a good job. Why I say no deal currently is because I personally, if I was in charge, I would wait until the end of the season. We've got just as much proof of him, and this is only including his time at West Ham, we have just as much proof of him being bad than we have him being good. And even in this period where he's done a lot of good things, he's still gone quite a few bad things. His dealings in the market, a couple of other things. Now, again, before we say anything, I'm not saying it's only his fault. I'm not saying this chairman doesn't have some responsibility to hold here, but he's done some bad things as well as good. The reason I say wait until the end of the season as well is because realistically, no one is going to come in and try and pinch David Moyes. Let's be real about it. No one is going to. There isn't a single team in the league. There isn't a single team who David Moyes would like to go to, who's going to go, do you know what? David Moyes is the guy. No one. When he came to us, it was his last chance, and there's a reason for that, right? So for me, we wait until the end of the season, see how it plays out, because again, we've got just as much proof of him being bad as we do of him being good. If at the end of the season, we're still going along like this, tracking along, bro, lob a contract his way. Get him in, 2-3 year deal, whatever you're saying. I back that. I agree with that at that point. But and that's even disagreeing with his style of football, his managerial style, which I do, right? However, at this point in time, I would not give him a new contract. I would wait and see how it develops.
Deal or no deal for David Moyes? I would say deal. I think before the season started, I said on Two Spanners on the Patreon podcast, I did say to Charlie that I would like to have a manager that would stay beyond next season. I don't like the fact that we're chopping and changing managers. Obviously, if we weren't in the position that we're in now and we were starting to lose games and things were good, I would try to sort of stay away from that, maybe offering Moyes a new contract. However, I thought he was unfairly treated being given the boot last time. You can see this time that clearly he wanted to get rid of some of the players that he deemed to be dead wood and bring in his style of players that he liked. He didn't obviously get Josh King, which was his main target, but he did get Ben Rama instead. And I think what he's actually built now with the first team is just a unity in the squad that we haven't seen for some time. I think he's got the players all singing off the same hymn sheet. There seems to be a lot of happiness in the squad. I don't even want to get get into the argument with people about the fact that Allaire doesn't celebrate, because I think that's just ridiculous compared to if you see him. He hardly ever celebrates. That's just his nature. That's the cool, calm collective he is. But all the players seem to really enjoy playing right now for David Moyes. He's got the tactical in terms of, he wants to go 5 at the back every game and have almost the false wingers with Bowen and Pablo Fornals cutting inside. I think for the first time in a long time, there's actually a lot to be positive about this season. I don't want to say that we're top 6 dark horses, but I really think that this season, if we push hard enough, there may be a spot for us in the top 8, top 10 potentially. And if that was sort of 16 to 18 months ago, we said no, that wouldn't have been the case. I always have felt bad for David Moyes. I think after he left Man United, it was a poison chalice for whoever that took that job, and he took a spate of just unsuccessful jobs after that, stuff that he shouldn't have been. He needs a team like an Everton, like a West Ham, like a Preston back in the day, somewhere that he can use to build a successful model. He needs to feel that security as well. He hasn't had security wherever he's been for the last sort of few jobs that he's had. I'm sure, as any full money, he doesn't want to be somebody that just goes from paycheck to paycheck, not being able to have some security as well. And I think he's finally found that with us. So I would be inclined, as I said before the start of the season, to give him a new deal at the end of the season. Just let's see how far he can take this. Let's see if he can get us back to what he was doing with Everton, pushing for the top half of the table. And if it's anything to go by what we've seen so far this season, I don't think we've got anything to worry about, for the rest of the season. I do not see us getting relegated. So let's do it. Let's give Moyes that new contract.